Have you ever just looked around and wondered how we got, well, everything? From the smallest ant to the biggest blue whale? It turns out there's this one huge, powerful idea that explains it all. It's called evolution. And today, we're going to dive into the super simple story of life. So let's just jump right in with a question I bet you've thought about before. Why in the world are giraffes' necks so ridiculously long? I mean, it seems kind of weird, right? Well, believe it or not, the answer to that question is the key to understanding this whole thing. So stick with me, we're going to figure it out together.
The answer to our giraffe mystery, and so many others, is a process called evolution. Now that word might sound a little complicated, but really, at its heart, it's just a story about change. And the most important ingredient in that story is time. And I mean a lot of time.
So, what is it exactly? Okay, here's the big idea. Evolution is just how living things, like plants and animals, slowly, and I mean really slowly, change over tons and tons of generations so they get better at surviving in the world around them.
Here's a really cool way to think about it. Imagine you had a family photo album, but one that went back millions and millions of years. Your ancient relatives would look nothing like you do today. That slow, tiny change from one photo to the next, that's exactly what evolution is.
Okay, but how does all this change actually happen? It's not magic, it's actually way simpler than you'd think. It all comes down to this super simple, three-step recipe that nature has been using for billions of years.
The recipe is this easy. Step 1, everybody's a little bit different. We call that variation. Step 2, sometimes those little differences can be a huge help. And step 3, the individuals who have those helpful differences get to pass them on. Let's break that down.
All right, step 1 is something you see every single day. I mean, just look around your classroom or even your own family. Nobody is exactly the same, right? Some of us are taller, some have curly hair, different eye colors. Well, it's the exact same for animals. Every single kitten in a litter, every bird in a nest, they're all unique.
Now, most of the time, those little differences don't really matter all that much. But every now and then, a tiny difference can mean everything. It can be the difference between life and death, for real. Think about it. If you're a brown rabbit in a snowy forest, you're basically a walking dinner invitation for a fox. But a white rabbit? Poof, it's practically invisible. That one little difference in fur color is a massive advantage for survival.
And this is where it gets really important. So what happens next? The white rabbits, the ones that are all camouflaged, they're the ones that are more likely to survive and have more babies. And what color do you think their babies are going to be? You guessed it, white. That helpful trait, that life-saving white fur, gets passed down to the next generation.
Okay, now imagine that process happening over and over and over for thousands of years. More white rabbits survive, they have more white babies who survive and have more white babies. After a long time, almost the entire rabbit population in that snowy place is white. They have evolved. They've changed to be perfectly suited for their home. And that is evolution in action.
So once you get this simple three-step recipe, you start seeing it absolutely everywhere you look in the animal kingdom. It's pretty amazing. The proof is all around us. Let's check out a few more examples.
And we are back to our original question. Why the super long neck? It's the exact same recipe. A long time ago, giraffes were all a little different. The ones with slightly longer necks could reach more leaves high up in the trees. So they ate better, they were healthier, and they had more babies who also had slightly longer necks. And over millions of years, that tiny advantage led to the incredible, super long necks we see on giraffes today. See? Simple.
And this isn't just something that happened in ancient history. It's happening right now. Think about penguins. The ones with thicker feathers and more fat are just better at surviving the freezing cold. And this one's a bit sad, but we see it with elephants. Because poachers hunt elephants for their ivory tusks, elephants that are born without tusks actually have a better chance of surviving. It's a powerful and pretty clear example of a survival advantage in our modern world.
So this whole idea is just incredible, right? But it wasn't always something we knew about. So who was the brilliant detective who put all these clues together? Let's meet the scientist who figured this whole thing out.
His name was Charles Darwin. Way back, over 150 years ago, he took this epic trip around the world on a ship called the Beagle. And everywhere he went, he noticed that animals seemed to be perfectly designed for their homes. Like birds on different islands had unique beaks that were perfectly shaped for cracking open the local seeds or getting nectar from flowers. Seeing all this made him go, and he spent the next 20 years figuring out that three-step recipe for evolution. Now, this might all seem like it's about rabbits and giraffes and things from a super long time ago, but here's the most mind-blowing part of this whole story. This story isn't just about them, it's about you too.
Okay, let's clear up a really common misunderstanding. You sometimes hear people say that evolution means that humans came from monkeys, but that's not quite right. A much better way to think about it is like this. You and your cousin share the same grandparents, right? Well, in the same way, if you go back millions and millions of years, humans and modern monkeys share a common ancestor, a sort of ancient great-great-great-grandparent to both of us.
And that leads to the biggest, most amazing idea of all. It means that everything alive today, from the grass in the park to a bird in the sky, from a weird mushroom to you and me, we are all related. We're all part of one single, gigantic, sprawling family tree that started with the very first spark of life billions of years ago. How cool is that?
So, the incredible story of evolution has brought us all here, to this amazing world filled with all sorts of life, which leaves us with one last, really fun question to think about. This story isn't over. It's still happening right now. So what do you think the next chapter is going to look like? What amazing changes are waiting to happen in the next million years?